Hey YouTube, Kevin Cleary here with a discussion video for you. Today I want to talk about another YouTube channel, and not all YouTube channels justify doing this, but I do think that Nutnfancy or the Nutnfancy project does, okay? And there are some reasons for that. But before I get to those reasons, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about Nutnfancy? What do you think? Let me ask you a couple of quick questions, and I'd love to hear your feedback down in the comments below. Number one, what is your favorite Nutnfancy video? Okay, number two, what is your least favorite thing about the Nutnfancy channel? You know, what area do you feel like he's a little weak on? And number three, what do you think he's really strong on? What is your favorite feature, or what is your favorite sort of aspect of his channel? And I know there are a few of them that maybe some of you could name, and that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Finally, if you're a YouTuber out there, I want you to be honest with me and just share with me, how influenced are you by the Nutnfancy project, and how many of us, I wonder, sort of learned about the whole gear review thing from Nutnfancy. All right, and I think probably for those of you watching, check down in the comments below. I bet you there's more YouTubers than you think that have gotten a lot of influence and have really maybe even been inspired to do this because of Nutnfancy. All right, so that's what I'd really love to hear in the comments down below. Now let's go ahead and I want to share with you guys. I do have my tablet with me so I can get it in front of the camera and actually take a look at his channel for a couple of minutes. But before I do that, I want to talk about just why this video, okay? Why do I think it's worth making a video about Nutnfancy, and why do I think it's interesting to talk about? Okay, so let's start by saying, look, he has been incredibly influential on, the whole, YouTube, knife review thing in general, and other gear reviews as well, and even on the knife industry, okay? So look, because of his number of videos, okay, that's the first thing that has made him so influential. He's been around for a long time, since 2008. That means before most of us had our channels going, we were watching Nutnfancy videos. So maybe even some of us don't realize how impacted we were by it, because we kind of moved past that by the time we started making our own videos, all right? But just this sheer number of videos means that if you Google almost any gear item, okay, your chances of finding a Nutnfancy video about that are pretty good. Number two, the quality and amount of work that he does, okay? Whatever you want to say about him, and I know he's an opinionated guy, and we'll talk about that, but he does a lot of work to make a video. Okay, he's out there, it's got to take hours just to in setting up and taking down and editing and all of that stuff. I'm not willing to do that. Okay, that's why you see the kind of content you do on my channel. But he really goes above and beyond when it comes to the amount of work he does to get a video together. I think the points he covers, all right? When I was first making review videos, I used to watch Nutnfancy videos and take notes and say, okay, he talked about this, he talked about that, this is, and use that and a couple other guys that were highly influential on me at the beginning, and I used them to kind of figure out what I should emphasize in a video and what kind of things I should, think are important. And then I think his personality, okay? And whatever you think about him, one, I think in person he's a pretty good guy. But number two, his personality comes out strongly in his videos, and I think that's kind of an important thing. As a YouTuber, that needs to happen, and I don't think he would have the success that he did without having that fairly outgoing kind of personality that he has. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about his videos. By the way, those questions I asked you at the beginning, I'm gonna save my opinions on those things till the end of the video. So I've got a little note here that says, here are my favorite Nutnfancy videos, and here's what I think he's strong on, and here's what I think he's weak on. I'm gonna share that with you though at the end of the video, after we've had a few other points of discussion. So let me get my tablet going here, and let's put it in landscape. Okay, so let's see how this is going to work. Get the knives out of the way, get the tablet squeezed in here, and there it is, the Nutnfancy project channel. You can see he's got Nutnfancy hats coming out. I don't think I'm going to be buying one, but it's kind of interesting to see. Maybe I can zoom in just a little bit on this. Let's see here. Try not to jostle the camera too much while I'm moving around looking for stuff. There we go. Oh, sorry, there we go. Okay, now hopefully the camera is going to show this stuff okay, and I'm going to be able to, you know, manipulate this without too much trouble. Well, we're seeing some of his more current stuff. Where's the one I really want to look at is the most watched Nutnfancy videos. I'm not going to try to go too much through his content because you can see how this is already getting a little awkward, but I wanted to pull up his channel at least since we are talking about it, and I will put a link, of course, down to his channel in the comments below, as well as the 3 videos that I'm going to point out as, you know, sort of favorite videos of mine, okay? So let's go ahead and talk quickly about his videos. Number 1, okay, part of his video content, part of his shtick, okay, is that he has strong opinions and he's not afraid to share them. And I think that's a good thing because whether you love his opinions or hate them, the fact that he has them is what makes a video compelling. And that's going to be true of just about any YouTuber. You know, imagine if every single knife that I showed you guys, I was like, you know, well, it's got this feature and I kind of like it, or and I, you know, I don't think I hate it and I don't really love it, and and I was just really wishy-washy all the time. You go, like, this guy either doesn't care about this or doesn't know what he's talking about, or what, you know, it would not be interesting at all, right? So even when you disagree with me, it's better if I have an opinion and share it with you, okay? And hopefully you know yourself and your own preferences enough to know, oh wait, I disagree with Kevin on that, so even though he doesn't like that, I'm gonna really like that knife. I'm trying to keep this, whoops, didn't want to do that. There we go. I'm gonna try to keep this from going dark. As you can see, it wants to do every so often. By the way, along those lines, he certainly comes across as if he is genuine, okay? I don't really think he's putting us on. When he says, you know, he dislikes something or that he really likes something, I think he really does either like or dislike that. I don't think he's making it up, right? So that's the first point that I think stands out about his videos, is he's got some pretty strong opinions and he's not afraid to share them. Now, number 2, and this is, you know, content, this is some things that I kind of appreciate about his videos. He's extremely detail oriented, all right? You know, the guy in a recent video I watched about 511 tactical pants, he must have talked for, you know, almost a good 40 minutes anyway about 511 tactical pants. Now, I like pants, okay, and I don't have any problem with, you know, spending some time and energy caring about what kind of gear you're gonna wear, but right, I could never talk for 45 minutes about pants. Here's a video about watches, right? Best EDC watch features, 39 minutes and 13 seconds, all right? And I've watched that video and it's actually not a bad video either. He is pretty detail oriented. Now I will say the odd time, you know, because I mostly focus on knives on my channel, I consider myself, you know, to know a little bit about that. And so sometimes when I'm watching a knife review, I'll catch him kind of miss something, but it's pretty rare. Generally, he not only knows what he's talking about, but he gets things pretty well right. As I say, the odd time he's a little outside of his comfort zone, and even then he still does a decent job. I think one time I didn't watch the whole thing, but I at least started watching an umbrella review that he was doing, and I'm like, this guy is reviewing an umbrella, what the heck? And certainly that's not within his sort of usual stream, but he did obviously take some time to do some pretty extensive research, and based on that research, did a pretty good presentation. All right, now, one last thing that I've got to say, and here's probably my favorite thing about Nutnfancy. Yes, I got into Nutnfancy watching knife videos. There's no question about that. But I actually appreciate his gun videos even more, and I've watched a ton of Nutnfancy gun videos. He's one of the few guys I'll watch gun videos from about guns that I'm not even that interested in, just because I find they're generally pretty informative, okay? And again, that attention to detail kind of comes into play. Now, let me bring up a couple of potential negative points. Number 1, he, especially now, okay, seems to be focusing on, you know, diversifying things a little bit. And I get it, okay, because here's a perfect example. Hold on, it's not all in frame. There we go. If you look at all of these videos, they're all firearms videos, okay? And you guys know how YouTube feels about firearms these days, okay? YouTube does not like guns, and they don't want anybody else to like guns, and they don't want their platform to contribute to people liking guns. And somebody like Nutnfancy really wrecks that, okay? So they have demonetized a lot of gun videos. I don't know if they're all still demonetized. Maybe if you have a gun channel or if you do a lot of gun content and want to comment down below, that would be appreciated. Go ahead and do that. But, you know, the sheer number of gun videos he has means that a lot of his content is going to be demonetized these days. All right, so, you know, I get why he's doing watch videos and umbrella videos and hat videos and pant videos and all of those kind of safe things, because they at least will get him a little bit of AdSense revenue, hopefully, anyway. Now, one of the things that I will say, whoops, could be a weakness. Now I'm going to have to... Oh no, perfect. Came back on right away. One of the things I will say could sometimes be a weakness, and this ties into a number of, by the way, this is one of my favorite videos, the M&P 2.0, and it influenced me getting that gun an awful lot. Anyway, one of the things that I think could be a weak point is sometimes he's just a bit over the top in terms of his opinion of his opinion, okay? Now I know all of us think all of our opinions are right. If we didn't, we would have different opinions. But Nutnfancy feels pretty confident about whatever he's saying, and that way can sometimes come off, you know, a little bit too self-assured, all right? Now, part of that I think is a shtick, and part of that I do think is a necessary personality trait to make YouTube videos, considering, you know, the number of people, the number of views that he gets, right? The number of views that I get are pretty small, and I still get some bozos coming along and saying, you know, you're the biggest idiot who ever lived, blah, blah, blah. I can only imagine the kind of negative feedback that Nutnfancy gets from time to time, okay? And finally, he can be a bit long, all right? You know, let's see, here's just, this video is 25 minutes. Now this video is just a short one, 2 minutes, but 19 minutes. You know, I would say 19 minutes is pretty short for a Nutnfancy video. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 37 minutes, okay? He is long-winded, all right? And that can be a little off-putting. A lot of times I will watch a Nutnfancy video while I'm doing something else, just because I don't always have 40 minutes to watch a YouTube video, all right? And so that can be a bit of a negative point, if you will. Overall, guys, I've got to say that I'm a fan of Nutnfancy, but I'm not a diehard fan, okay? I don't watch every video. I kind of selectively pick and choose, and every once in a while, he'll go through a slump where he just puts out a bunch of content that I'm not that into, and then, I don't know, there'll be a resurgence, and there'll be a bunch of stuff that I really, really like. And maybe some of you are like that as well. Now, let me share with you his strongest point, I think, overall. I think his strongest videos are his gun videos, followed closely by knife videos. All right, I do definitely enjoy his firearm videos more than even a lot of other people's firearm videos. I do really enjoy his work along those lines. I think his weakest point are that he's a little long-winded and he puts out a fair bit of content that I'm not interested in compared to other channels that I subscribe to. All right. The one biggest nitpick that I have is I've seen him on more than one occasion forgive blade play. Now, at least he mentions it, which is better than some. Okay, I've seen some YouTubers, you know, kind of gloss over some negative aspects of a knife. He doesn't usually do that, but he will say, oh, it's got a little bit of up and down blade play, no big deal. Well, to me, that's a big deal. Like, that's a total failure. If you can't build a knife with no up and down blade play, you probably shouldn't be building knives. Nutnfancy is like, yeah, whatever, it's up and down blade play. And so that's one point where I do take a bit of an issue, probably more than any other aspect. So those are what I feel like he's strongest on and weakest on. Finally, here are my favorite Nutnfancy videos. His Paramilitary 2 video is great. And when I, you know, even after, you know, I've owned about 5 pair of 2s, and I've watched that video lots of times. Every time I buy another one, I usually watch that video a couple times. Number 2, his M&P 9 video. That video I watched, again, it's right here. A better M&P. This is the one I mean, not the original M&P 9 video, but this M&P 9 video. I watched it a lot of times and it really influenced me. I was picking, you know, between a couple of different sort of modern polymer firearms and ended up going with the M&P 9, and largely because of Nutnfancy. Now, there were a few others as well, but Certainly Nutnfancy was influential in that decision. And finally, his HEC blades. HEC blades, those are high-end carry blades. By the way, his acronyms do drive me a little bit crazy, okay? He's got a short form for everything. And I think that's just his personality, okay? Now, being a firefighter, I can't complain about that because we tend to do that as well. We send, you know, we talk about a TIC, which is a thermal imaging camera, and why is thermal imaging camera too much to say? I don't know. So we have a lot of short forms, so I can't pick on him too much about that, but he does tend to do that. Anyway, HEC blades, those are 3 of my favorite videos, Para 2, MMP9, and the HEC blades. And I think the HEC blade speaks to me because those are the kind of knives I like to carry. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And I hope if you are not familiar with the Nutnfancy project, you get familiar with it. He does generally do a pretty good job. And as I say, you know, I'm not the biggest Nutnfancy fan that ever lived, but I definitely enjoy his content an awful lot. I hope you enjoyed this content, and I'd love to hear your comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.